Hey gamers, welcome in. It's finally time. The last time I did a video like this, the list was being built, and now we finalize the contenders. I'm very nervous about showing you what my contenders are. My top 10 is already made, and I'm excited to see what y'all think. And there's 5 OLIs. Doctor Strange. It's all come down to this. After the best, worst year in gaming of all time, this was legitimately one of the toughest tasks I've had all year. What I kind of discovered was my top 5, pretty cemented, pretty like I'm happy with my top 5. Everything else, 6 through 15, you could hit a randomize button and I'd probably be okay with it. You could just hit shuffle on that bad boy and I'd look at it and be like, yeah, I could see that. Number 10, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I vibed a lot with this game. I'm extremely happy I went back to it. Obviously started off real rough, tech issues, frame rate. It was kind of disastrous because I'm so happy I wasn't the only one with PC problems on this game. Ran fine on my PlayStation 5, Andy. Yeah, because it had to drop to 360p in order to look good, okay? Looked like ass running on performance mode, getting 46 frames per second in 180p. I'm sorry, I'm not okay with that. I'm not Greg Miller with the eyes of a goddamn stegosaurus, ancient as hell. I'm sorry, I like things to look good. If I went to the movie theater to see Oppenheimer and they're like, hey, the whole movie's blurry, sorry, that's just how it's gonna be for the showing. I'd say, you know what, I'll wait for another time then. I don't want to watch a blurry movie. Again, great time with it. I don't really care about what it did lore-wise. I think some moments were rushed near the end, and I don't think all of the emotional beats were incredibly flawlessly well earned, but it wasn't egregious in any way, right? Yeah, there were some moments with characters having moments in their arc where you go, I don't 100% buy this, but it's also not terrible in any way. This isn't just like scene to scene, something happens and now the character is cool about shit again or whatever. I'm talking about this in like just very vague terms because I don't want to spoil anything. If I were to put a percentage on it, shit, sorry. Fucking jeez. Maybe like 6 to 7, 6.843 in terms of development. Still had a good time with it. Had great moments with story turns and awesome kind of out of nowhere twists that I really, really enjoyed.
What have you done?
Holy shit! Fun platforming, decent combat, not like the best combat, right? I think it's fairly serviceable for it being like this is like their Souls version of combat. I don't think it like felt amazing in any way, but it wasn't horrible. But yeah, I really enjoy the traversal, the movement, and customization, all the lightsaber colors, all the lightsaber pieces. BD1, had a great time with it. Number 10, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Great job, Respawn. The twists and turns I enjoyed a lot more in Survivor, and obviously like this game just did what Spider-Man 2 and what God of War Ragnarok did, was improve gameplay in every way. Improved mechanics, quality of life, movement, abilities, all that stuff. Let's do an OLI. And honestly, I'm not super set on what the 11 through 15 are, but looking at this year's list, it's very reminiscent of how a lot of the MCU is for me, where once you get past like movie number 7 or something, you can randomize movies 8 until like 15 for me, 8 until 20 or whatever. A lot of them very interchangeable. You know what? We're not doing OLIs. We're not doing OLIs. What we're doing is continuing with the list. And RoboQuest is my number 9. Woo! Oh my God. Oh man, that felt amazing to do. Just a phenomenally well-made roguelite, pure gameplay. This to me was, I know I said that this game was gonna be like my Ghost Runner and Boomerang X and Metal Hellsinger of this year. And while it still kind of is, it's essentially what Vampire Survivors was last year for me, where it's just pure fucking gameplay. You're not there for story. You're not there for character development. You're there for a fun ass time. And there were plenty of moments when I wanted to maybe continue Star Wars Jedi Survivor off stream. And I knew I wanted to keep a lot of it for the stream, but I just always opted for playing RoboQuest anyway. It's so fun. Movement is phenomenal. Awesome abilities and upgrades and like level progression. And throughout all the classes, not just like the one that I was using that had like the different drones that you would get, but having that level of progression across a lot of different different classes kind of shows you why it's such a great idea for a lot of these indie developers to put games into early access, because you get such good feedback from, that's why Hades was an early access game. That's why Hades 2 will be early access. I think it's awesome that these developers were able to gather enough feedback, make a really kick-ass game on the full launch. It's on Game Pass still. Go download it. And shout out to the people that recommended it to me, because I would not have taken up that sponsored stream. Oh yeah, I was sponsored to play this. Take that for what it is. I was also sponsored to play fucking Atlas Fallen, and that's nowhere here. So take that for what it is. But it was because people recommended it to me that I was willing to take that sponsorship, because I'm offered a lot of games for sponsorship that I will never ever play, because I just don't vibe with them. But phenomenal time. Played co-op if you have a friend who also has Game Pass. Just a good time. Number 8, another late entry. Another one that I'm very happy I picked up, because I was just very impressed by it and had a great time with it. Blasphemous 2, not The Last of Us 2, although that game ranked pretty high for me. An amazing Metroidvania, an incredibly well-designed world where your abilities immediately kind of interact with the world and exploration. Everything is just tied so intelligently together. And like, again, if you're out there and you were really, really missing having Silksong come out this year, if you've just been kind of hankering for that Hollow Knight drug, play Blasphemous 2. I am so glad I did. A lot of people recommended it to me, and there was a good chance I wasn't gonna play this year, and I'm so happy that I did, because it's got some really well-designed boss fights. What the hell? Holy shit! That's super sick! Ah! Oh my god, heal up, Andy. What the fuck? Oh my god. Amazing pixel art. Holy shit, dude. Like, the stuff that this developer is pulling off with pixel art, it's just insane. So yeah, shout out to Blasphemous 2. And it makes me want to go back and play Blasphemous 1. Number 7. It'd be really easy to name what number 7 is right now, but unfortunately I have to name an OLI, an outside looking in. And that outside looking in, Cocoon! Number 11, Cocoon, just outside the top 10, just outside of it. In any of the past years, I think Cocoon is an easy top 10 for me. This was so tough, picking between this and Jedi Survivor. It was such a tough decision, because I think it's just one of the smarter puzzle games I've played, and really good for dummies like me, with one simple mechanic that it would do, is that it would let you know, in most cases, that what you need to complete this puzzle is somewhere around here. You don't have to backtrack a lot. You didn't miss something 20 minutes ago or 15 minutes ago of gameplay. What you need is it's here. You just have to look a little closer. Normally don't vibe with puzzle games, but I think Cocoon is just insanely smart. I think after playing games like Jedi Survivor and Tears of the Kingdom, where a lot of the puzzles are like physics based, I still enjoy that a lot more, because there's always like a kind of 100 different ways to find one solution. And Cocoon, for the most part, was very much like, this is the solution, which makes sense. I shouldn't expect anything more than that, but I kind of wish that it did have a different approach to its puzzle solving. But it's still very good, very smart, with cool boss fights. That's one thing. When I first saw Cocoon, it was a clip of a boss fight, and I thought it was going to be a top-down isometric like action game based on this boss's, set patterns and everything. And it was kind of wild that they were able to include these boss mechanics into a game like Cocoon and have it not feel like it was out of nowhere, right? I can imagine it can be kind of tough for these devs to have even wanted to include boss fights. So like, does that totally muddle down the message of what we're trying to pull off here? And I thought it worked really well. And I think that's a really tough challenge to overcome. What's next on the list? Where do we go from here? Next up on the list, another close one. Another title that I had a lot of fun with. Another title that left me wanting more, even though I feel like the developers achieved vision that they were going for. And I kind of wanted more, even though I don't think it was ever meant to be more, but it still really surprised me in a lot of ways. And if you hit the randomize button, I'd be okay with it. Because if it popped at number 5, I'd be like, okay, I could see that. I had a good time with it. But another OLI is God of War Valhalla. Easily one of the best DLCs ever made. Fun gameplay. I don't have a whole lot of bad to say about it. I think once events started opening up for it though, and then once I kind of saw what the limit of the vision was, I started kind of wishing that there was a bit more on the bone there. And that's the most entitled, spoiled take that anybody could ever have, because they didn't have to do this. You know, like, it could have been the most bare bones of a roguelite experience, and I would have accepted that and be like, ah, cool to come back to this. And I think it's so unfair to me to be like, wish it was Hades, because that's like insane. That's an insane take to have. I just thought that when I came back after a run that there would be much more happening. Once I started being revealed what the whole core concept of this was, I thought that there would be a lot more NPCs there around kind of home base or whatever. Phenomenal DLC. Free. I mean, the best value of any game this year. If we're going on best value, that's Bad Boys #1. Easy peasy. Great time though. Great combat. Phenomenal performance from Christopher Judge there at the end of it. Very cool. Somehow finding a way to develop Kratos even more. God of War Valhalla. Not much more to say about it. Number 7. Another game that I'm super happy I decided to play, because it was one of those that was being talked about by a lot of people in the industry. A lot of people I respect in the industry. And it's one that I likely wouldn't have played had I not heard such good things about it. And that is Chants of Sennaar. And I also misspelled it. It's one more N. My bad. Tears of the Kingdom. Chants of Sennaar was such an awesome time of learning different languages and figuring out how to apply them to certain situations, and having that feeling of discovery and that sort of detective mode where, hey, this person in this world is trying to say something to me. I don't understand their language, but I see 3 icons. Here's their word bubble. There's 3 little like letters there. I don't know what those icons or letters mean. And you're walking by a little shop, and there's a dude selling a bunch of guitars, and one of those icons is on the shop sign, and you're like, oh shit, maybe that means guitar or music. Fuck it, I'll guess that. Maybe it is guitar or music, and you type that into your little journal. And you're finding out all these different aspects of the world that overall had a really cool message by the end of it. Climbing up this tower, the Tower of Babel is what it's based on, and just kind of going level to level and finding out how language as a barrier, and language separating nations, and communication essentially being the cause for a lot of people not getting along, and finding out by the end, having these cool twist near the end of the game was really damn awesome. It was a great time. I fucking loved it. Never heard of it in my life. Well, fucking now you have. Look it up. Oh, is it your number 1? Oh, nice. I'm so glad that I heard of it and played it on, because I saw Lucy James talking about it a lot, and then I think I saw Jeff Grubb tweeting about it, and then it was the Besties podcast that kind of put me over the edge to say, all right, I gotta try this shit out. Number 6. How stacked is this list, by the way? How insane was this year? Number 6 is one that kind of took me a while to get back to, and once I got back to it, I fell right back into the groove, and I enjoyed so much of the narrative and the different gameplay scenarios that would kind of hit you. And that's Armored Core Fires of Rubicon. From Software, once again, just showing that they're the fucking best in the biz, man. It's ridiculous. Like, it's honestly kind of like Christopher Nolan being like, hey, I'm gonna make a movie. Oh, that's cool, a new movie. Does time move backwards? Or what, like, is there like a crazy ass twist? Or like, we diving into people's dreams or thoughts? Is this a game with like parallel universes? And Christopher Nolan's like, no, it's about the guy that made the atomic bomb. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of like, that's interesting to do that. I hope it's good. Good luck. And it ended up being one of the best movies of the year. And that's From Software making a new game. Cool. Souls-like? Sekiro 2? Bloodborne 2? A follow-up on, like, is the Elden Ring DLC coming out this year? It's just going to be another Souls-like then, right? Got to be like a futuristic Souls-like maybe? Different era. Maybe it's not like medieval fantasy. Maybe it's like some different sort of... Nah, it's going to be that robot game we used to make in the past. Oh, shit. Okay. Well, I wish you the best of luck, From Software. And they said, we don't need your luck. We're going to put out one of the best action games you'll ever experience. And it's going to be littered with hype moments and awesome narrative hits that just kind of make you like, just like, fuck, this is awesome. This dude just panic swinging. God, this game kicks so much freaking ass, dude. It's the fucking best. From Software can just do it all. They can do it all. Never doubt them ever again, even though you probably weren't, but I kind of was. Like, I didn't know if it was necessarily a great idea to go back to Armored Core. I just didn't know if it would translate well, if it would fresh and good in this era. It's not exactly similar to if they were like, hey, we're going to come out with a car combat game, because I feel like car combat games, I've always said, that's very much like a genre of the past that I don't think works nowadays, like a Twisted Metal type game. But I didn't have a whole lot of expectations. I thought it'd be a serviceable, decent game, but I wasn't expecting to love it like I did. And it was awesome. And I want an Armored Core, and that's why I'm making a sweatshirt with my AC on it. So look out for that on nitrorifle.com. Stop doubting FromSoft, chat. That's another one, Nightwing. Releasing an Armored Core with good controls, I was worried about as well. Awesome customization. Forgot to talk about that. Making a mech in Armored Core with all of the hundreds of possibilities. Parts for your Armored Core, different arms that look cooler. Maybe these are heavier so they can hold heavier guns. The color customization, being able to upload graphics to put on your Armored Core, really awesome. I was not expecting them to go that hard with the customization, and I'm happy they did. Are the smaller font games honorable mentions? No, these are all the games that didn't make the contenders. And what's a contender? It's something that may be a contender for the top 10. Contender. I'm really gonna drive that home. Hopefully it breaks through into the mainstream. Number 5. Imagine those graphics being there. Number 5, one of the biggest surprises in gaming, I'd say, because a developer sought out to make a video game in a genre that is often littered with bad imitations, and that's Lies of P. Lies of P, number 5, making a Souls game that feels better than some Souls games. Crazy. Taking every lesson from the FromSoft handbook, studying it, taking class on Saturdays as well after your part-time job at fucking, I was gonna say Circuit City. Kinko's? Are Kinko's around still? Anyway, you had a part-time shift at Office Depot at night, but in the morning you still went to Saturday class, and you went to From Software 101, and you kept on going to school, and you learned about what makes a good boss fight, what makes a satisfying challenge. How do we iterate on the From Software formula and make some things just straight up better? And they did. Sekiro parries, do that well enough and you'll break the enemy's weapon sometimes. Oh, see you later, papa. That is just such a good feeling. Depending on the enemy, right? Weapon combinations. I got this cool handle. Maybe I can join it up with that other blade that I found on that other sword. Put that shit together. Bam. Oh, it's a little too heavy. Maybe let me take off that blade because I have another sort of similar blunt object that I can tie to it. Smoke that blunt object. You know, like, smart as shit, dude. Awesome. Lies of P kicks so much ass. I can't wait for all the games journalists to personally attack you for this list. You don't know shit. All right, Rudy, you don't know shit. Don't act like you know anything, all right? NeoWiz Games, Round 8 Studios, just absolutely whooped ass with this game. And when we first started coming out, when you first started seeing trailers for it last year, or in 2022? Yeah, 2022. You get excited, and that happens a lot with a lot of these Souls games, and then you end up finding out no one can do it like From Software. Why did I even give this cheap imitation a chance? And so, you know, not to say that all Souls likes are bad, but they usually fall short of expectations. And visually, this game looked amazing. It ran insanely well. The last vestiges of Unreal Engine 4 looking damn good. Like, just making this game look really impressive. Really damn good character art. Beautiful little boy, Pinocchio. Game rules. Had some awesome surprises as well that I wasn't expecting the game to have. When we talk about like secrets and little side quest adventures, I wasn't necessarily expecting to be there because I feel like that's taking it to a limit that, hey, if you're a developer, fuck all the other stuff. Just try to get combat right. If you're trying to make a From Software game, if you're trying to make a Souls-like game, you got to work your ass off on making the combat feel good. And if you can't get that right, then what's the point, right? So it was an awesome surprise to be having a blast with how the game feels movement and fighting wise. And then to just pick up like a little note that you saw that says like, hey, go to this spot at this place and you might see, it's like, oh shit, they got like little treasure hunts here. This is awesome. And I just had a great freaking time with it, man. Really fun boss fights. Like, even had fun when I was mad and frustrated. I didn't ever really feel like there was a whole lot of cheap shit, you know? This wasn't an Ogdo Bogdo Star Wars Jedi Survivor fight with the two Ogdo Bogdos. Is that what they're called? I've just been calling that. Nobody's correcting me, so I assume that's what what they're called. Little Joe Zagaki in there, Zagak. Awesome. Spawn of Ogdo. Okay, yeah, I nailed it. Yeah, this is the game that I, overall, I enjoy this game's combat more than like probably Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1, which is insane. Don't tell Miyazaki about that. Don't show him this video. But yeah, they just found the right evolutions to make this game feel great. Loved it. Loved them taking the Bloodborne rally system. You take a hit, maybe you charge back and try to get some health back by swiping on a dude. But ultimately, parrying at the right time and breaking an enemy's weapon was the most visually and audibly satisfying experience. Just to hear that impact sound of the weapon popping off, you're like, holy shit. Now I got you where I want you. I found your pattern. I've downloaded you. You're so downloaded, homie. Actually not there though, one sec. I broke your weapon and now you're significantly weaker. So awesome. JC Casey, 45 months says, sup Andy? Would I like Liza P even if I'm a player that exclusively dodges and parries in Souls games? I tried the demo and didn't like the lack of a dodge. There's a dodge in Liza P. Yeah, you essentially dodge what you don't feel comfortable parrying. You tap once to do like a sidestep thing that has iframes, or you double tap to do a roll that has iframes. Yeah, you could also just like block stuff too. Yeah, exactly, Creed. You could, if you don't, I found more joy in doing the parrying. And if an enemy walks up to me and goes, shoom, 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 and then me finding out that I have to go parry, 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 and it ding, 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 ding. Like all of that stuff is so satisfying and great to me that I would have been able to clear bosses a lot faster had I just dodged and blocked instead of trying to parry. But if you just hold that block button down, you're gonna take some chip damage. You might even get your stance broken, but you can swipe back and get some of that health back from the chip. It's a great game. God damn, what a good game. I think it's the 1 through 6 that I felt extremely strong about, and then 7 through everything else. Hit that randomize button. I'll be happy with it. So if you're angry about where these games lie, I may record another video where they're in different orders, and I could title them correctly, so you could be like, oh, Andy, great list, love that, you know what I mean? Like I will do that for everybody just to keep everybody happy. You could pick your own adventure. Yeah, you can choose your own adventure. I'm about to hit you with one right now. Oh baby, I'm about to hit you with one that's gonna just have you stunned. You're gonna be calling your local congressperson asking for change. You're gonna make a change.org website and say, get this man out of office. He is not mentally fit to be there. Number 13, Spider-Man 2. So close, so close. It was right there, man. It was right there. My first platinum of all time. And just a game that even with my shoddy memory, I just don't remember a whole lot. None of it really impacted me very much. It was, for better or worse, a superhero movie, you know? It was a decent MCU movie. Improved the combat, had fun traversal, but like aside from those 2 side quests, I'd say that those 2 side quests are like the best part of the game. Not the actual doing of them, just like the cutscene, the stuff that like impacted me emotionally. Because other than that, just none of it really hit with me story-wise. I had fun in the boss fights. The boss fights felt improved. More engaging, more of my style of parry when you see that and dodge when you see this. A lot of great suits, love the suits, but yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. Some pretty like annoying, ugly visuals in the beginning part. Some moments where I'm like, we sure there's a next gen title? Why's the lighting in this? Why does everything look like it's on a set? Like, you know, nothing feels like very organic in a lot of these spots. And I think they've fixed a lot of those issues. Those may have been like pre-launch, pre-patch 1.0 issues or whatever. And I did run into a decent amount of bugs near the end. They were spiders. That's a 9.0. That's come on. Come on. All right, enough. No, but I did have a lot of technical issues near the end of it. Buildings just weren't rendering. The ground wasn't rendering either. I was falling into water in the middle of a town. But yeah, like not a whole lot special was happening with it story-wise for me. And that's where it ultimately let me down the most. And then Miles Morales shows up and he's like, I have a new suit too. You know, obviously Peter's going through a lot of his character changes, and that coincides with suit changes. And that really just felt like, I have a new suit too, Peter. Okay. I did really enjoy the arc happening with Miles, and I don't even want to talk about the themes of it because I don't want to spoil anything, because if I just say one word, that'll kind of lead you to knowing what it's about. But I thought that was well done, but it's an OLI, and there's some games on here that won't even make the OLI. So think about that. So I had a great time with it. Obviously Insomniac, an amazing developer, to be able to put out constant constant high quality hits is absolutely nuts. And they continue to do it. Very, very good. Number 4. Not necessarily a game that took everybody by surprise. Took me by surprise. This is a game that I was asked many times about and would reply with the same answer. Nah, probably not going to play that because I don't really do well with turn-based combat. And that's Baldur's Gate 3. Down, down, down by the river. 10 out of 10 falsetto. I mean, everything. What else can be said about Baldur's Gate 3? Have I beat it? No. About halfway into Act 3. Would I have sped through it more and not tried to do anything if I wasn't enjoying it as much as I was? Yeah, but I fucking love playing this video game. I absolutely love playing this video game. And if I had it my way, and if I knew that there was a guarantee that all y'all fuckers in the chat would show up for every Baldur's Gate stream, I would have streamed the shit out of this game. But there just wasn't a whole lot of viewership there, so I was kind of discouraged from playing it on stream a whole lot because I have so much fun doing the role-playing aspect of it. I really enjoy so many of the characters. I think these are some of the best written and acted NPCs of all time, all with really cool motivations and side quests that you may never experience. I mean, this game is just like it's a technological feat. It's insane that Larian will make stuff that 0.043% of players would even see or experience. It's wild. And like what they're doing isn't new. They made an RPG game where choices have consequences. What is new about that sort of like objective is that nobody's done it this hard. What they're innovating on is going for like the actual vision that so many of these other RPGs have had in the history of time, but there's never enough budget or time or resources to actually fulfill that. So in every RPG game, you're eventually going to have an NPC that you've talked to the whole game, and then by the end of it, they're like, so, hi, how's it going? My name is so-and-so. And you're like, oh man, I already know you. I did your side quest, but that's fine. Like, you don't recognize me, and that's okay, because not every NPC can have that sort of like written into their dialogue trees and everything. But like Larian's the only studio that's psycho enough to have gone for it. And like they did it, dude. Like now in Act 3, I'm experiencing a bit more bugs and technical stuff. Weird characters like faces, textures removing, or different vertices on their like face model, like jutting out into space, you know? That's happening to me a decent amount more in Baldur's Gate, in Act 3. But I'm still largely blown away by everything this game does. The new part of this concept is just going 110% with it. These guys laced up their goddamn shoes and they hit that field, no holds barred. They injected themselves with some Toradol, and they said that bottle that you threw at that one dude in Act 1, that bottle got some dirt in it, and that dirt had the blood of Viceroy Newt Gunray. He's in here somehow. And like that leads to this dude having this effect. Like it's insane that they went for it. I can't believe it. I can't believe how good it actually was. And I think the biggest achievement was getting me into this sort of strategic turn-based combat. That's the biggest achievement of it all. Larian, I know you did a great job making every choice and NPC feel real and lived in, and every NPC remembers the last thing you did, and it's just this stunning achievement. But the best part of all of it is that you got me into turn-based and strategic combat. It deterred me at the beginning of it, but by, after 3 or 4 hours, I'm like, oh, I'm so in. This is awesome. So shout out Larian. They made the greatest D&D game possible. Absolutely. Maybe I'll do another playthrough and experience Astarion, but it'll probably just keep on trying to suck on my neck. I'm like, dog, get away. We're not like that. Ready for another stunner? Ready for another fucking stone cold stunner? You all are having a great time listening to this one wrestler cut a promo, and all of a sudden you hear glass shatter. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my god! And he's fucking running out, and he's got his Coors Light. Like you weren't expecting this shit to happen. And this one will likely have a lot of people boycotting Kind of Funny. Outside looking in, number 14. Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2. is number 14. OLI. And this is like factual. This is all like, that's all gospel right there. All right. These are all factually correct things. Because if Alan Wake 2 is in your top 10, then you played one video game and it was Alan Wake 2. Didn't love the exploration. A scary game. Didn't love the scares. Too much on the jump scares. Let's be honest though, right? Like, hey, a character being dropped. Andy, your character's being dropped. You're no longer the guy who's like super scared of video games and like plays it up in some cases. But like too many jump scares. First, like for real. Atmospherically, game's phenomenal. Game does a great job with making you feel that dread. Other than that, didn't care for the combat. Didn't care about wandering around these spaces. Felt like some of these upgrade systems and little puzzles were very kind of shoehorned in because they had to make it a video game. You still got to gamify this in a lot of different like RPG-ish ways. So sure, let's throw in some passive medallions that, you know, give you 18 better accuracy headshots. Like there's just a lot of weird shit like that in this game that I didn't love kind of feeling tacked on. But I think this is like probably my #1 game this year in terms of presentation, in terms of visuals. I think it's the prettiest game of the year. I think it's got the best looking NPCs of the year. Actually, Zelda had Pura 9 out of 10. But I think I would have enjoyed this more had I like watched a playthrough of it, you know, because I didn't necessarily love like the game playing of it. Control is a much more fun game. Just let me be a flying Jedi. Let me pick up rocks and make it a shield and go and grab that thing and throw it at that bad guy. Let me switch my gun and do that magical service weapon thing it does to make it like a single shot, like sniper, like just a way more fun game. And so having an equally amazing experience presentation wise, but making the video game aspects of it less fun makes it drop out of the top 10. So that's Alan Wake 2. Here's my hot take about story and narrative. This is going to be a scorching, scalding take. I think a lot of it is just absolute nonsense, but we like it because it's connecting stuff to the other titles. And that's largely why I like it. Like, I don't think it's doing wild stuff. I don't think it's like a really well-crafted narrative. It's really just showing me in the post-credit sequence that Thanos got the glove and said, oh, fine, I'll do it myself. And you're like, ooh, cool. Wow, they referenced Control. And I'm a sucker for that shit. And you saw me pop off in the playthrough about it. Oh, that's the old lady from that other game? Wow. I can't believe they're doing this. But like, I think so much of it is like still just like a lot of nonsense. And I'm still, I am such a sucker for those moments. I look at that and understand my hypocrisy in saying this. But like at the end of the day, when I look at like what the actual story is, I'm just like, this is kind of a mess. Sam Lake will never dance again after this BS. But I still love the spectacle of it all. You know, like I love that this game got made. I think there's so many instances where Alan Wake 2 doesn't get greenlit. It's not selling super well, which does kind of stink. But I love that this game exists and that Remedy is still allowed and striving for the weirdness. Let's have that one actor that's actually the darling from Control. Let's bring him in. He's voicing so-and-so, and Sam Lake is the character for this guy, but he's actually he's the guy from the first games we used to make. Like, it's just a lot of like cool tie-ins that I don't know if they really amount to a bigger picture that I care for a whole lot. I also I didn't agree with Blessing and Greg, though, in thinking that the story kind of wrapped up super quickly and easily. I was enjoying the pacing of it near the end there. And here's another stunner for you all. You all ready for another stunner? Remnant 2 is taking Alan Wake's place at number 14. Remnant 2 is number 14. Let's go! Come on! I love playing Remnant 2, man. I love playing Remnant 2. I love clicking heads. I love ripping them to shreds. And Remnant 2's boss fights are just so much cooler. The gameplay is just so much cooler. Obviously, it's like so much of it is just cooler as an experience, even though I think Alan Wake is a better made piece of art. Remnant 2 is just more fun to play. And another stunner, Roll Long is actually 15. No, I'm kidding. That's a good time, man. This is a good time. I do like detective games, but you do no detectiving, Midsoft. What detectiving do you do? You do none. You're not deducing anything. You're putting the blue card in the blue slot and the red card in the red slot. That's all you're doing. You're putting together the story of the game. So that's every video game. The most detectiving you're doing in the game is when you like find that like that little like chest in the game, and the chest is like, hey, look for a symbol on a rock, and you go and you look and it's like, oh, there's a 1 and 2. Oh, let me put those down. Let me get this loot. You give the game a card and it says it belongs there. Yeah, that is one mechanic. I've talked to I've talked ad nauseum about the mind space and how much I love it as a concept, but I just don't think it was like, I don't really think it was, they nailed it quite as much as I would have liked them to. But I do wish that there was a Insomniac skip puzzle button. If I open the mind space, let me just hit place the cards where they go. Tell me what they gotta say. This card, is it in the right oh, it's down here. Like, okay, just put them up there. I think the coolest thing about the game is, yeah, probably presentation and also just hitting the mind space immediately being there. That was stunningly cool. Number 3. Jericho says no shot Final Fantasy 16 is in the top 3. You're right. Because it's number 2. It's the top 2, Jericho. So shut your ass, baby. Final Fantasy 16. Phenomenal combat. Amazing character development and arcs. Insanely just immersive boss fights. Big budget. Holy shit. How are they pulling this off right now type stuff. Fun ass combos. And what did it for me the most were these story moments. Like, not only being able to enjoy a game gameplay wise, but being impacted emotionally, whether it's good comedy from Sid, whether it's like actually kind of impressive dialogue writing in some moments that I was very surprised by, because you usually don't get that at all in a lot of Final Fantasy games. You know what I mean? You usually don't play Final Fantasy games for the impressive dialogue. You play it for, these fun, big sort of story anime moments. Final Fantasy 16 really wowed me in a lot of moments where I'm like, oh shit, that was actually really impressive right there. But it's the story moments, man. Story moments just blew me away. And I think, pound for pound, maybe the best, most satisfying paced out romance in a long time. I thought they did such a phenomenal job with just drip feeding it slowly to you. It was amazing. The game pretty much solidified top 5 status for me when it showed me press L3 and R3 to accept the truth.
I'm done running from you. Together, then.
Oh,
it's time to find out who we are, once and for all.
Oh shit!
Show yourself, Ifrit.
Fucking devil trigger, dude. This is so high! I have tears in my eyes.
I know the truth of it now. You are not afraid. I am.
Come on! It just keeps on going! That is one of the best gaming moments I have ever experienced. Some of the hypest shit, the best soundtrack of the year. God damn. And that's why I was really bummed out that like Barrett never went back to it. He was like, oh, I'm not big into like action stuff. It's like, dude, but this is like the most anime bullshit of all the anime bullshit you watch, you know? This is like the hype fucking maximized, gigantamaxed to the 90th degree. Like, you would love this shit. Just watch my playthrough, you know? There's a moment when Clive says, it's not the strength of my will I should worry. It's the weakness of yours. I legitimately shouted, fuck yeah, to no one at all. Yeah, I think I shouted that too, Golden Rose. I think I shouted something very similar in my playthrough. I was like, oh, what a fucking bar, dude. That was good. That was also one of my biggest surprises of the year. I didn't expect to love it that much, you know? Numero 3. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. Just like the biggest redemption arc for any, like, I know No Man's Sky had theirs, but like I wasn't expecting this much of an improvement you know? It's amazing. Similar to Baldur's Gate 3, like some of the best NPC writing, some of the best dialogue exchanges between characters and story moments and hype shit happening on screen. That I really wish I had recorded my final moments with the DLC, because it blew me away. I was just stunned by the level of quality in it. I was immediately kind of stunned by how much I enjoyed Idris Elba, because I thought we were just going to get Hollywood dude in a video game role, and I just wasn't expecting to enjoy him as much as I did. Beautiful game with gameplay that had been really improved by Cyberpunk 2.0. Awesome improvements in skill trees. I thought that was also a huge improvement to V's writing and V's character, like voicing whoever the character actor is for V here. I felt like he was, not that I ever thought he was like bad in the original Cyberpunk. I just never thought he was ever like the star of the show. And granted, I played the male actor voice of V, but this time around, I felt like it was just light years better. Really enjoyed the performances there. Top tier storytelling, top tier action. I loved it, man. And I loved navigating Dogtown way more than navigating like the original city, the original like Night City in the core game. I thought Dogtown was built out more like a video game area to explore, where I felt like because they were going for a lot more believability in Night City's like layout, that kind of made it unfun to explore for me, because it was built out. It felt like a city planner built out Night City as opposed to like a game level designer. Night City is cool to explore just because it's pretty, and I love just like driving down streets and seeing the buildings and how beautiful all the reflections are. But I enjoyed Dogtown much more for having like these emergent gameplay experiences, you know. And it's got a great visual triangle. You're so right. And my #1 game of the year, Redfall. No, it's Tears of the Kingdom. Duh. It's Tears of the Kingdom. Fucking duh. And this is one that isn't even close for me, honestly. To hit you with like a sequel of a game that I feel is like just gonna be more of the same. And it's more of the same, except that they add these insane abilities, all with crazy physics simulation and this like creation engine that goes way deeper than we could have ever imagined, you know? And it's all that gameplay and discovery and stuff that I loved about Breath of the Wild, with like what I think are like the coolest Zelda moments in any story, with some wild twists that I was not ever I would have never imagined that Nintendo would have got this wild with the story. And I think it's got like the best emotional moments near the end of the story there that just really kind of stunned me. Another game similar to Final Fantasy 16 where I was a crying mess by the end of it. Tearing up because of hype, tearing up because of just like emotional kind of sadness. Like, dude, this game just was absolutely, it caught me off guard story-wise. I don't know if I've ever like 100% truly cared a whole lot about a Zelda story. And this was one by the end of it that I was like, oh my God, this is nuts. Fucking Tulin, bro. Tulin. I think starting off with that Colgera fight and having the lead up to that was like, oh shit, like this is like, Nintendo's not playing around here, man. And not only were those abilities like just insane in like it's some of the crazy shit that they could have done on this little tiny outdated Android tablet. To be able to pull that shit off technically just absolutely was stunning. And because of those abilities, because of those like special powers that you're getting, that made all of the freaking puzzles, all of the shrines like that much more enjoyable. It just kicks so much ass. I am kind of sad about them saying that, you know, not every, why would you want a traditional Zelda game from here on out? I still would. I don't need a Zelda game I don't need a big open world Zelda game with like these sort of mechanics. Like I still would like a more traditional style game with, you got to get the 3 jewels. You got to get the 3 bags of hot Cheetos to save the world, you know? I would still love that experience to come back in some way. I don't know, man. I'm just so blown away that this game hit in the way that it did. Dude, fucking, the ending of that game is just insane, man. Oh my God. I'm finally going to get those moments clipped out. I'm going to post them on the year anniversary and be like, hey, there's spoilers here, but it's your fault if you haven't played this shit yet. I'll post those things out on the year anniversary. That's my top 10 gamer with my OL lives. I should probably stop the video right now before Alan Wake hops into number 50, before Dead Space knocks out Alan Wake. You know what I'm saying, chat? Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed my rankings, and I know you did, you agree with them probably. And even if you don't, you know deep in your heart that I'm right and I have the best taste and kind of funny. Click like, leave a comment for the algorithm. Consider buying some merch, and people people will walk down the street and see you in my merch and they'll be like, that's a guy with the best video game takes of all time. And you'd be like, yeah, that is him. He's the one who said that like RE4 remake should have had a dodge. He's like, yeah, and he was right. And they're like, yeah, he was right. Nice. And they just a little pounding of the fists, you know. We'll see you later, gamers.
I'm just straight up crying right now, dude. That was unbelievable.
Games for pussies, bro. Shitty fucking game.